Hello and welcome to Nature Days Outdoor Learning Resources, sponsored by the Gower Society. Now today I'm going to tell you a bit about a fantastic organism that you can see much better in the winter time. It's lichen. Now lichen is what we call a symbiotic relationship, so it's two really good friends living together. And the way that they work is you have a mushroom which is providing the roof or the house for the symbiotic relationship for the family to live with, and then you've got the algae or the plant which is providing the food. So you've got like a builder and a chef living together. Now this relationship between our algae and our mushroom creates this lichen, and you can find them growing on any surface, because the amazing thing about lichen is, unlike most fungi and plants, they don't need any soil to survive. So you'll see them on rocks, you'll see them on walls, you'll see them on roofs, you'll even see them on gravestones. So I'm going to tell you a bit about those, and then I want you to do a lichen survey to have a look round to see what lichen you can find in your area. Now the best thing to look for with lichen is to find an area where there isn't any soil. So maybe you've got a stone wall, maybe you've got access to your roof so you can see it from the ground, or maybe if you're lucky you've got a local cemetery or a local graveyard that you can visit, because you can see some amazing arrays of lichen on the gravestones. Now there are three types of lichens. They divide them into three groups, and the first ones are what we call the crustios. So they're crusty, so they sit flat to the surface of the stone. Now those ones you will find everywhere, and that's because they really don't mind what the air condition is like. If they're living on a rock, they're not going to be able to absorb any of their nutrients, which most plants need, such as the algae inside the lichen, from the soil. So they will have to get everything that they need in terms of nutrients from the air or from the rain. And they're going to take that from their surface. And if they are a crustiose lichen, they've got quite a small surface area. So they can only suck in a small amount of those nutrients, because that's also where we get pollutants inside the air, such as sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and particulate matter. Now they will also be sucked in by our lichens by accident, and what we call them is a bioindicator. They're telling us whether the air condition is good or really poor. So if you've got crustios and only crustios, you know that you've got quite poor air quality, and that's because those crustiose lichen don't need to suck in too much. They won't get poisoned by it. However, if you have a look round and you find you have some foliose lichen, which look a bit like leaves, which are flush to the bottom of the wall, but they're still quite sticky outy. Now these foliose ones, these ones will absorb more from the nutrients in the air, so they don't like much pollution. So that means your air has not got that much pollution, not as much as in the areas with just the crustiose. The third type, we have fruticose lichen. Now fruticose lichen is really sticky uppy, and if it's on a tree or something it will actually dangle down, and it's got lots of little bits sticking up, so it's got what we call a large surface area, which means it will suck in an awful lot of those nutrients or of those pollutants. So it's a bioindicator of really clean air. So if you find some of that, that's an indicator you've got the cleanest air you can. So if you look on my apple tree here, this is full of crustiose lichen. So you can see all these different colours, these one with the black spots on it, and all of these are very flat to the surface. So if I turn round, you can see that they are really tightly attached to the surface of the twigs. They're not sticking out at all. So that's your crustiose lichen. This branch here has got our foliose lichen. So you can see it's sticking out a bit more, but it's still flat along the branches. But if you look to the side, you can see it's sticking up. It's not keeping to the shape of the stick. And here we have our fruticose lichen. So this one here, really sticking out, lots of fine little branches, and that's got a large surface area. That's going to be absorbing an awful lot of those nutrients from the sky, but also pollutants. So what you need to do is to have a look at the pictures that I've just put up. If you look on the Nature Days blog, there's some more pictures there, and just go around and see which kind of lichens you can find. Don't worry about what they're called. It doesn't really matter what colour they are. It's just about how much they stick out. So if you want to go around your graveyard, you can have a look on the gravestones there. Just be respectful and see what you've got. Or if you've got a woodland, you can see some growing on the barks of trees, or even in your garden. Have a look round, look at the walls and look at your roof and see what you've got there. If you do see any, I'd love to see some photos. So please take some photos, tweet them, #NatureDays. Now, the other thing that you could investigate is which surface do these lichens actually like to grow on? So this is just a survey to see which surface has got the most lichens. Doesn't matter what type this time, but just which ones have got the most. And a great place to do this is a graveyard, because gravestones are made up of lots of different stones. Some of them made out of limestone, some of them made out of granite, which is a shiny stone. And so if you look around, see if you can see a pattern. So is there more lichen in the shinier stones, or the ones that have got crystals in? Or is there more on the ones that haven't got crystals in the rough stones, like the limestone? And see if there is any sort of pattern. You could even try and make it into a scientific investigation by making it a fair test, creating yourself a results table and drawing yourself some graphs. So there's a lot to get on with today with your lichens. So enjoy and don't forget to tweet. And I'll see you again for our next Nature Days Outdoor Challenge.